Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, America? It is Kevin Jackson time. The Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com. Glad you guys are with me. Always excited to talk to you. Even when I'm not feeling well, I still like talking to you. And I wish we had more interaction, that I could, listen to you as you respond back to the radio, or you chuckle or pull over, because I get your messages. You tell me what you're doing. Kevin, man, you rocked it. It was so funny. I had to do whatever. Or maybe you disagree. It's okay. Either way, contact us, KJRadio.com. It's funny. I'll send a message back and people go, Kevin, you actually do respond back like you say. I do. I respond back. I may not respond back in 2 minutes, but I'll respond back. And if you call the show, we'll take your call. We'll play your calls. Sometimes we have one lady, she calls me 3, 4, 5 times a day. We can't, get back to all of that, but we will try to address your topic, your concern, whatever. Because you know what? This is your show. I don't know how most radio hosts feel. I don't feel like this is my show. I feel like I come on here and I speak for you. I really do. Look, we can differ at times, and I know there are times when you're like, Kevin, you're not speaking for me right now. I get it. We don't always agree. But I bet you a lot of the time I speak for you. I was on Tucker Carlson talking about the DREAM Act and the fact that the NAACP is wanting to sue President Trump over the DREAM Act, and I've talked about it on the show already. But if you saw, I said the same thing on my radio show as what I said on Tucker. I said President Trump should sue not only the NAACP, he should sue Barack Obama, all the complicit bourgeois white cocktail sipping leftists who are complicit in stealing the dreams of American citizens. There is no such thing as a dreamer outside of this country. The dreamers are in America. When you get here, legally, if you're born here, you're dreaming. America, we have the American dream. We have the patent on the American dream. It isn't the North American dream. It's the American dream. There is no Chinese dream, no German dream, no Russian dream. You'll never hear anybody talk about that. Oh, we have the Dubai dream. You have no other dream but the American dream. Everybody knows it. Go on, be jealous. Go on, be jealous, world. If I were Donald Trump, I would have said to the UN, hey, is this thing on? Where's other countries' dreams? Their citizens don't. Their citizens. The only citizens they have that just say, I don't care about the United States, are the filthy rich over there. Everybody else longs to get here. I have never heard an American say, I long to live in Greece. I long to live in Germany or whatever. They may say, I'm going to live in Germany for a little bit. They may say, I certainly would love to visit Greece and see where Archimedes did his work or whatever, but they don't want to be, they ain't no dream in Greece. Please. Not unless you cook a chicken in it. Then I'll dream about it. But nobody cares about the Greek dream. The Greek dream said nobody, but Kevin Jackson talking about the lack thereof, right? There's no such thing. Come on now. Preaching up here. We're going to have a fun show, aren't we? We're geared up. I have a bit of a headache. I'm not going to lie. I have a bit of a headache. Worked out hard. Yeah, worked out hard yesterday. Well, I haven't done my workout today, but I will. I'll get it in. Lots of pain, man. Ooh, muscles. I'm getting old. Getting cranky and old. But anyway, let me get back to this dream. So, we got these leftists that are stealing the dreams of, look at it. I could tell you that they're stealing the dreams of young blacks. They're not. I mean, they are, but they're stealing the dreams of much more. They've broadened the tent. They're stealing the dreams of young whites. You have white privilege. You better calm yourself down, white person, and don't stop achieving too much. Disregard what your family has done. They're stealing white kids' dreams. They're stealing white parents' dreams by stealing the children's. They're taking over the children's. They're telling their white kids, hey, you have privilege. And the white privileged kids are coming back home. Mommy and daddy, shame on you for having a whole family and treating us all with respect and having Thanksgiving and Christmas and grandma and grandpa and holidays and vacations and things like that. For shame. I'm ashamed of my privilege. Hey, white parents, I'm available if you need me. And I have 4 sons. What are you talking about? Give me the opportunity to be raised in like Kaepernick, right? My mom died and my grandparents adopted me and I love them to death. But I'm just saying, if the Kaepernicks had said, hey, we'll take them, I would have looked at my grandmother and said, it's okay. Come on. Could have been playing in the NFL and I wouldn't be taking a knee. I'm just saying. What are y'all talking about here? We're talking about nonsense. And the craziness of it, is we've got the Dreamers suing President Trump. How do you come to a country, however you got here illegally, doesn't matter. How do you come to a country and then say, I'm going to sue the top dog? I mean, leftism has gone completely bananas. When you come to a country and you say, I'm going to sue the top dog, I'm illegal. I shouldn't even be here. Kim Jong-un, you wouldn't even get, I'd like to bullet in the head. Kim Jong-un would kill you if you came to North Korea. Not that anybody would, but if you went to North Korea talking about, give me my freedom, Kim Jong-un would look at you like you had 3 heads. Unbelievable what we allow. And then the NAACP. What about these morons? These people got enough on their plate dealing with black folks, colored people. And they want to deal with Hispanics, and we want to help the dreamers because the dreamers need their dream. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream, and he was including the Mexicanos, the Latinos. No, I don't think so. I don't think Martin Luther King would said, please translate my speech into Spanish. Martin Luther King had a dream for black folks, and it's being squandered. And the sad part is, it's not black people. I mean, it is black leftists that are squandering it, but it is the white leftist establishment that is treating us like children, black people like kids, patronizing, embarrassingly so. And we're allowing it. I tell you what, let's just dumb it down for you little black people with affirmative action and stuff, and we'll make it all work out great for you. So what, you won't have jobs? So what, you don't have families? So what, you don't dream anymore? You have no imagination. It's okay. It's all good. Anyway, we got a ton to talk about today, folks. Trump was called a threat to the democracy. Do you know who said this about Donald Trump? I'll tell you in just a bit. The Electoral College. Terrible idea, right? Maybe not.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. It's where you can contact us. 844-551-8255. Barack Obama called Donald Trump a threat to our democracy. Can you believe that? The sitting president of the United States, duly elected by millions of people, over 60 million folks, and the former president, the community organizer, failed community organizer, failed attorney, failed state rep, failed senator, failed president, calls Donald Trump a threat to the democracy. The same Barack Obama, who's done nothing successful in life except sell the concept of Barack Obama, the Barack Obama who used the intelligence community to target Donald Trump, calls him a threat to democracy. I want you to think about everything that Barack Obama and his band of minions did in order to thwart this election. Yet we look at the Russians. It's become a joke, this whole Russian thing. And we're going to get into the Manafort stuff in a bit because Manafort's fighting back. I don't blame him. And you'll hear clips about this Manafort thing that'll have you scratching your head because you'll go, this makes no logical sense. But anyway, what we're dealing with here is a president who issued a FISA order to look into a presidential candidate that he dismissed, that he said with his own mouth, he's never going to be president. You recall this? Barack Obama assured the leftists in America, as he joked, that Trump would never be president. Do we have that clip?
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
So if I were Mueller, I'd be looking into how Barack Obama had so determined that Donald Trump would never be president of the United States. Is he looking into that? Yeah. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. I love looking at these clips of Obama and his just the bombastic nature of this man. And he's so full of himself. Just cracks me up to I mean, we review these clips from time to time. There was one where he called Donald Trump a BSer. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, he said Donald Trump is a BSer. We have the clip. Let's play that. You got that one? Let's play it.
People Cover story is going inside the Obama's new life post-White House and revealing what the former First Lady and President really think about the current Trump administration. In the issue out Friday, the Obama's inner circle described their reaction as, quote, shock and awe. And two friends who spoke to Obama tell People that he described his election night conversation with Trump as him saying, quote, he's nothing but a BSer. And another friend close to Obama says, quote, Barack's deeply concerned with what he's seen, but he's also optimistic and heartened that citizens aren't just watching it happen, but engaging with elected representatives at town halls.
Yeah, Donald Trump is a BSer. He doesn't tell it like it. Let me tell you something. What do I tell you guys all the time? I tell you the left tell you who they are by what they call you. See, here's the thing. If you're a BSer, I don't really care. Most conservatives. So let's say you got a guy, he's full of crap. And somebody comes up and you're like, hey, what do you think about so-and-so? You usually just go, hey, whatever. He's an interesting guy. The reason why you say things like that is because you go, I'm not going to get into the mix of who are you or what do you think. It's rare that a conservative will tell you flat out, avoid that dude like the plague. Like there are a couple of people in this industry. There's a lady that comes on TV. I'll just give you her first name. It's Dr. Gina. And she's the most full of crap conservative I've ever met in my life. Started out as a PR person working for me and worked harder on her own PR than she did for me. Trying to elevate herself, using anybody and everybody. pathologically so. She's a sociopath. And I'm not even exaggerating it. And she's one of the only people, if you ask me point blank who she is, I tell you who she is. Other than that, I go, hey, interesting person. You might like them, blah, 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 because I don't really care. For me to try to torpedo them, it's like, why? It's not even worth my time. So I usually go, you might find them interesting. Now, the reason why I say that is because, and I never do this intentionally. I've learned this over time. I've often said the things that I believe, and I think that this is just a human thing. You say subconsciously what it is you think you are. I believe I'm interesting. So I usually go, and I never noticed this. I'm being very honest with you. I never noticed it until I would say, leftists tell you who they are. Then it made me wonder, well, do we tell people who we are? So I wonder, what was my response? What's been my response when people, what do you think about so-and-so? I go, hey, man, you got to make up your own mind. But, hey, he's an interesting guy. And I leave it at that. Because maybe that's how I view myself. It's kind of a mirror. And so here's Barack Obama telling you Trump's a BSer. Let me think about the ramifications of a guy who's so full of crap, Barack Obama, having the nerve to say of a man who has made himself into a multi-billionaire icon, as well known as Barack Obama around the world. Trump, for decades, has been one of the most well-known names and brands. For decades. Prior to 2004, nobody knew who Barack Obama was. He had his little stint with fame through 2016, most of which from 2008 to 2016 wasn't good for his reputation. And now he wants to say, at post-election, Trump's a BSer. He BS'd his way into the public's eye, iconic TV show, iconic brand, iconic resorts and things like this, and then against all odds becomes president, and he says he's a BSer. Donald Trump said, I'll build a wall. He's going to build a wall. Donald Trump said, I'll save carrier and I'll do much better. I'll lower unemployment. I will spur business. What's he done? Exactly that. They told you the stock market would crater. If Donald Trump was elected, we're all going to die. It was doom and gloom. Donald Trump was president-elect, the stock market soared. And it's soared ever since, setting records after record on top of records, outperforming even gold for a bit. What else? He's looked at foreign policy and taken a hard stance on that. Just came back from the UN, probably one of the only presidents in the history of this country. And I don't know what Reagan said to the UN, so I can't speak for him. But one of the only ones that went there and said, America first. And by the way, it's okay if you want to be first. We won't hold it against you. Germany, Spain, Portugal, France, whatever. You want to be number one? Go for it. Game on, baby.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. 844-551-8255. The biggest threat to the republic, not the democracy, the democratic republic that is America, just left the Oval Office. The second biggest threat looms in the very policies represented by that former president in the form of leftism that remains in this country. That is the biggest threat to America, and it is the biggest threat to the world. And people can say, Kevin, that's over the top, whatever. That sums it up. You're talking about a group that truly wants selective anarchy. They won't tell you this. The elitists want to fool the minions into believing that they are fighting for their rights. I defy you to tell me that Nancy Pelosi really cares about Mexicans coming into the United States. Pick any one of those politicians. Tell me whatever their issue is, and I will tell you, unless that issue involves them personally, like I want more money to go to cancer research. If a politician tells you that, you can bet your sweet behind they got cancer. Or it's impacted somebody in their family. It's like this comedian, Patrice O'Neill. You know what? Just play Patrice's clip because it'll make more sense in humor than I can even explain it.
I'm getting tired of famous people making me give money to the disease that they got. Yeah, whatever, right? And I don't mind that, but it's selfish. But be honest with your selfishness. What I'm saying is, okay, I'm diabetic. I have diabetes, but I'm going to try to be honest with you. If I didn't have diabetes, that wouldn't be the disease of my choice. Do you understand what I'm saying? So since I have diabetes, I want there to be a cure because I got it. Now, Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's disease, and that's terrible, but I just want him to be honest with his problem. I don't, because he's on TV every 5 minutes talking about how terrible the disease Parkinson's disease is, but I just want him to be honest with his selfishness. I want to ask him a question. I'm going to be like, hey, Mike, listen, I know you got Parkinson's disease, but what about cancer and AIDS? Aren't those important too? And I just want to see him go, yeah, they're important, but you know what? I ain't got that. So I'm not going to give money to something I don't have. If somebody famous don't have your disease, you are dead. You are finished.
Welcome back, everybody. Patrice O'Neill, rest his soul. I love comedians, especially guys like Patrice O'Neill. And that's why I write my comedy around reality. You know, Patrice O'Neill's keeping it real. What he said is exactly true. And I'm telling you folks, don't think of this in terms of celebrity disease. Think of this, the celebrity disease is politics. The politicians have the disease of politics, and that disease is infected with leftism. The body politic of America is infected with leftism, progressivism, whatever you want to call it. And the only objective, sole objective, look, don't get all anecdotal on me. Oh, Kevin, I know a politician and he really is concerned about the environment. It's whatever. I'm telling you, these guys will use any ruse to stay into power because the allure of power, the control of people, and the acquisition of wealth are the reasons that you do this. And that's why the framers said, look, leave your job and go to D.C. Don't get a check. You want to know why? Because if you ain't getting a check, you want to go home. But you know what we've done? We've fattened up a lot of frogs for a lot of snakes. And now politicians look at it as, you know what? The gravy train is in D.C. They love it. I call it Hollywood. I've heard of it. I use it all the time, but I call it Hollywood for ugly people. That's what it is. This is as good as it gets for these guys. Most of these guys and I've said this, guys and gals, were the ones who nobody really cared that much about in school. They were either the very pretentious little, sort of the Reese Witherspoon that got into Harvard type. You know that show, whatever that show was where she got into Harvard, but she's real prissy or they were the nerd on the chess club, or some crazy little obscure group in high school that people made fun of. Those are your politicians. The head of the football team, man, he was like, I got options. He could go work with his hands. He was a strong guy. He was, pretty bright. Football players are not dumb. Sports people are not dumb. He had options. These other people were like, I'm intellectual, but I don't know if I want to be a scientist. But I tell you what, I'll do politics. I get it. So we have these folks that now believe that, they matter. They matter more than you. They no longer represent you. And they can do whatever they want. Barack Obama knows. I mean, can you imagine him meeting with the White House attorney saying, now explain to me, FISA. Explain to me exactly how this FISA thing works. and the wiretapping and, surveillance of people. Because he inherited that program from George Bush. Go look at the movie 0 Day. They got that program finished that spied on everybody in the world on Election Day of 2008, when the official president switched over. It was January of 2009 the program ended, which cracks me up, because what they were essentially saying is, when the new president is elected, we have to start over, but we don't want to have our fingerprints on it that it's America. But it happens that it's on Inauguration Day. So we don't know who wrote the program, that spies on everybody in the world. And by the way, this is what Snowden exposed. He realized, he thought Barack Obama was going to end it. Barack Obama put it on steroids. So Barack Obama sitting with the White House attorney and a group of other confidants. He's saying, explain, what you're trying to tell me is I can issue a FISA warrant, put somebody's name in the FISA thing, and nobody knows, because nobody can tell it, because if they tell it, they go to jail. So it's a system that allows for no checks and balances. And Barack Obama had Susan Rice issue FISA warrants on people, on Manafort, in advance. Knowing nothing on this man. There was an FBI investigation open on Manafort. Yeah. Okay, if you want to open an investigation and look into his tax policy, what he's doing with his business, that's one thing. How does that translate into, I'm going to open this thing up and expand it to Donald Trump and his holdings in Russia? Which, by the way, anybody with common sense knows there's nothing there. Because if there was something there, they would have found it. They've had enough time to look into Russia, they would have found it. But you know what? They're completely avoiding it at this point. They're running in circles. They've gone back to 2006 to look at Manafort's records. Let's play that clip.
Well, Anderson, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigators are reaching to 2006 in a probe that centers on tax and financial crimes of Paul Manafort. It's one indication of the pressure that Mueller's team is placing on the former Trump campaign chairman, and the broad time frame shows that Mueller's team is going well beyond Russian meddling during the campaign as part of the investigation of the Trump campaign associates. As we reported yesterday, Manafort has been the subject of an investigation, of an FBI investigation for years, including wiretaps, and he has emerged as a focal point for Mueller.
Let's stop it there. So he's a focal point for Mueller. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. He is a focal point for Mueller because Mueller has nothing else. 2006, a supposed investigation looking into Manafort, and how that translates into something involving Donald Trump is beyond me. And the reason is it doesn't. The left need a skin on the wall. And Manafort is it. They've looked at everybody. They've looked at Kushner. They've looked at Junior. They've created people and had to retract stories of, it was Corey so-and-so, or it was Stephen this, and had to go, we're sorry. It was misinformation, wrong, completely erroneous stuff. Then they actually said Donald Trump actually contacted Russia to potentially build a building in Moscow. Really? A builder? Wanting to build a building in Moscow? I'm shocked. Certainly there's a conspiracy there. This is how crazy things have gotten on the left, folks. So Manafort, and we're going to talk about this. I'm going to thread it throughout the show, because that keeps you guessing as to when I'm going to talk about it. But we're going to come back to this because Manafort's fighting back in clever ways. I'm not going to be a spoiler on this, but I want to go back to the idea that Trump is the threat, but Barack Obama exposes people. They call it unmasking them, using his minions to do it. He hides behind it. Then he runs off to Billionaire Island and pretends he's a good guy. The left know that he's not, and so they know this is also about Hillary Clinton and others.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's Kevin Jackson Show. Author of Race Pimping, the multi-trillion-dollar business of liberalism, and that can be applied to many things that the left does. And you need to be aware of it. If you want to check out my book, that's great. Go to racepimping.com. But it's bigger than that. I want you to think about this. When you think of race pimping, think of anything. Think of Russia pimping. All right. Think of tax pimping. Think of healthcare pimping. That's what these people do. And my book reveals to you things that happen in the way of race that you will apply to other things, and you'll go, whoa, I could do a series of these, like Encyclopedia Brown. I could do a healthcare pimping, tax policy pimping, foreign policy pimping, women pimping, which would be different than, other stuff. But yeah, I could write a series. I'm telling you, the pimping is outrageous going on in this country. I played a piece of the clip earlier where CNN is discussing Manafort. And they're saying that Mueller is going back, extending the scope of the investigation into Manafort, going back to 2006. What was Trump doing in 2006 that involves Russia? Anybody? Exactly nothing. Nothing. No political. He wasn't trying to get him to influence the election. We certainly know that. And CNN, they don't, it's not all but admits it. They admit it. And yet they still make this Manafort thing the discussion. And I want you to remember this name, Alinsky. Alinsky said, single somebody out, make them the scapegoat. So what are they trying to do? They think this tactic's going to work. They want to single out Manafort. No matter guilty or innocent, certainly if he's innocent, they don't care. They're going to make him the scapegoat if they can. It won't work. But they're going to make him the scapegoat. And then they're going to get the public to go, see, we told you there was Russian collusion. Yeah, but what about Donald Trump? Where's he involved? He isn't. They know it, but they'll have their scalp. That's what they're trying for. Anyway, let's play that clip.
Well, Anderson, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigators are reaching to 2006 in a probe that centers on tax and financial crimes of Paul Manafort. It's one indication of the pressure that Mueller's team is placing on the former Trump campaign chairman, and the broad time frame shows that Mueller's team is going well beyond Russian meddling during the campaign as part of the investigation of the Trump campaign associates. As we reported yesterday, Manafort has been the subject of an investigation, of an FBI investigation for years, including wiretaps, and he has emerged as a focal point for Mueller. Manafort's spokesman, by the way, declined to comment for this story, but we should add that Manafort has denied any financial wrongdoing, Anderson.
You said financial crimes. I think you meant possible financial crimes.
Financial crimes, that's right.
Why all the way back to 2006?
Well, the period that is mentioned in this search warrant covers much of the decade that Manafort was working as a consultant for Ukraine's former ruling party. It's that work that actually prompted the interest of the FBI in Manafort. The party was accused of corruption, and the FBI was trying to figure out whether any American consultants were actually involved.
So I know you have new details about the July raid on the Manafort home.
Right. Well, the search was unusually hard-nosed. Sources tell us that it began before dawn as Manafort and his wife lay in bed. The FBI agents entered with guns drawn and insisted on searching his wife, Kathleen Manafort, for weapons, which is really a standard part of what the FBI does in these types of searches, but it's something that was jarring, no doubt, to the Manaforts.
And there's been a lot of pressure on Manafort. Is there any sense whether he's actually going to be charged?
Well, we're told that Mueller's team has warned Manafort that they're working to charge him with possible tax and financial crimes. Now, that's an indication that this investigation could be in an advanced stage. We should note that none of that is about election meddling, which is what this is supposed to be about.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. So, that clip is so revealing in so many ways. Anderson Cooper, they talk about the pressure that's being applied to Manafort. He says initially going beyond, well beyond Russian meddling. He was the subject of an FBI investigation. So no harm, no foul. Either the FBI has something or they don't. Nobody's interfering. They started the investigation in the time of Bush. So Barack Obama had 8 more years to have the DOJ look into Manafort. But then suddenly when Manafort becomes Trump's campaign manager, what happens? He goes under wiretap and additional FISA court surveillance. That's a big deal, folks. FISA court has no checks and balances. Anyway, Cooper asked, Anderson Cooper, he says, okay, whatever on all that. Why are we going back to 2006? And what I loved is the rationale. The guy goes, well, it does go back to 2006, blah, blah, blah. And he doesn't give an answer. Other than it's expanded to go back to 2006 to look into whatever financial crimes. And I don't know whether it was going to be dropped at some point during the Obama administration or whatever. But once he connected himself to Trump, who wasn't supposed to win and who Barack Obama was going to make doggone sure didn't, once that happened, then suddenly Manafort's back under scrutiny. And we're looking into him going back further. And the only thing I can think is they're trying to pressure the little drug dealer to try to get to the bigger guy kind of thing, where they say, we'll put all this pressure on you unless you tell us what we want to hear, Manafort. What was Trump doing in Russia? Okay, man, if I tell you what you want to hear, is it going to save my butt? But the problem they have is this. They no longer have the seat at the table. They no longer are in the power position. As my grandfather would say, in the hawk seat. So what are you going to do? DOJ is going to do their witch hunt. Mueller's going to come back. People, in the Trump media juggernaut that it is, if Mueller comes back with anything less than looking into Podesta and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and all that connection, Trump is going to obliterate this man, and rightfully so. The issue right in front of our face is Russian collusion, Russian payouts, pay for play, etc. All on Hillary Clinton's side. And we're talking about this. So, long story short, Anderson Cooper doesn't get his answer. And at the end of that piece, the reporter says, yeah, well, yet again, as a rapper, none of that has anything to do with Russian meddling. So let me get this straight. None of this has anything to do with Russian meddling. And yet, we're still looking into Manafort. Let's play that next CNN clip.
President Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, at this hour calling on investigators to release any intercepts of his phone calls or other communications. He says, put it out there. In a statement, Manafort's spokesman writes, Mr. Manafort requests that the Department of Justice release any intercepts involving him and any non-Americans so interested parties can come to the same conclusion as the DOJ. There is nothing there. Pamela Brown is out front in Washington tonight. And Pamela, you first broke the news that Manafort was wiretapped, and obviously his team is angry about that. And so they're saying release the records.
That's right. This is the first time that Paul Manafort is responding to our exclusive reporting that he was being surveilled by the U.S. government under a FISA warrant, under a secret court order, at least 2 times. And as you pointed out, Manafort is now calling for the Justice Department to release any intercepts, these conversations that he had involving him, to the public. He's asking DOJ to do that, claiming that there is nothing there and he wants the public to judge.
Welcome back, so everybody. So a couple things happening here. It's Kevin Jackson Show for the newbies. A couple things happening. First of all, Paul Manafort is saying, I'm going to get in front of this. I'm going to do what nobody in the Hillary Clinton administration or Barack Obama administration or Hillary Clinton's team would do. Release the records. Paul Manafort's got no emails to delete. He said, whatever intercepts you have of my dealings with Russia or Ukraine in this case, whatever you have, go ahead and put it out there. So he's given permission to all the government agencies to do this. Now, there's a trick up his sleeve. He's got a trick up his sleeve, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But the trick of this is very simple. It's a marketing thing that says, I got nothing to hide. If they come back and tell you anything, you remember, I told you you're free to release. Oh, we cannot release his records. That would be against such and such order, general order of the FAR-DAR, section 313, paragraph 6, subsection C, whatever. But Manafort said, fine, but I'm okay with it. That should give you plenty. Oh, well, the government has a lot that we can't have. Oh, so you don't want to release your part. I got it. Brilliant marketing, brilliant, and it's a strategy of an innocent person. I don't know why Manafort's under investigation. I don't. I know this. Hillary Clinton, Podesta, Barack Obama, John Kerry, Bill Clinton, Chelsea Clinton, all of them are more guilty in a day than the average conservative is in a lifetime. That's what I know. And I think it's sickening that we keep going over the same stuff.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show, the show where we do not try to tell you how to think. We challenge you to think for yourselves. If you want to reach out to us, kjradio.com, 844-551-8255, 844-551-8255, if you want to call. So Richard Branson, billionaire, British man. Barack Obama parties with Richard Branson, for those of you who don't know. Oh, and Barack Obama killed Osama bin Laden. Anyway, Richard Branson says, hurricanes are a sign of things to come. And I saw that, and I went, wow. No wonder he's a billionaire. Look at how profound Richard Branson is. Hurricanes, a sign of things to come. How deep is your love? Now, how deep is that? I mean, let me think. Guatemalan midgets, a sign of things to come. Let me think. Starbucks coffee, a sign of things to come. How profound can you be? Do you want to give us your profound statement? Influx of Rottweilers from Germany, a sign of things to come. Maybe the jackboots, the Nazis, are coming here to invade. Remember, 2 decades ago, you didn't even know what a Rottweiler was. Now there's lots of Rottweilers. A sign of things to come. I love these leftists. I mean, look, the guy is great in music. He's great at taking business concepts and making himself into a billionaire. But I don't know, Richard, that I would call that a sign of things to come. See, here's what I would call it. I'd call hurricanes at this time of the year hurricane season. Now that's just me. I'm not a billionaire. God forbid you listen to me, a thousandaire, or am I 100aire? I'll check with my accountant and I'll get back with you. But I'll tell you this, the idea that what's going on with hurricanes is anything more than hurricane season is ridiculous. And you know what's funny? I don't know how many hurricanes we've had this year. We're up to M. Let's see. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. So we're in 14. We're at 14 hurricanes. Okay? We got a lot of alphabet left to go. I don't know I've ever heard of Hurricane Zebra or Hurricane Xenophilus. Have we gotten to 26? I don't think so. We could go maybe to what's something that only gets to 20. I don't know how bad the hurricane season has to be before these people finally go, oh, or how little it has to be, I should say, before they finally say, you know what? Maybe it isn't global climate change. It's funny. I moved to St. Louis years ago, and I went there. You guys will think I'm lying. This is a true story. I go to St. Louis. They said, Kevin, we want to ask you to take over the St. Louis office. It's performing pretty pathetically. And I said, okay. I mean, I went kicking and screaming, but they flew me in. My company flew me in. It was 61 degrees in winter, crystal clear blue skies. And I went, you know what? I could handle this. And I probably went there the only day where there wasn't like nasty, slushy snow on the ground. And the city looked gorgeous. And so I flew back in and told Larry, the number 2 guy at the company where I worked, I was like, you know what, Larry, I'll do it. I'll take the bullet for the team. And then when I flew in to go after accepting the new offer and signing on the dotted line, St. Louis blew up. You know, I mean, blizzard and, you know, people wrecks and can't go to work and all. I was like, what? What happened to the St. Louis I knew and loved? But it was gone in a blink of an eye. So that's what happened to my St. Louis. That was an anomaly. It had nothing to do with global climate change. It was just the fact that St. Louis said, you know what? Let's have a good day. Let's reward all these people that have suffered, that are so layered up. You know, let's give them a good day. And we did. And here's what I love about St. Louis. Amazing falls. The worst fall in St. Louis is better than the best fall I ever experienced in Texas. True story. The area of Texas I lived in, fall was like, eh. In St. Louis, the worst fall, still you get all these really beautiful leaf changes and all that. It was nice. Is it the Northeast, you know, Boston? I don't know. I mean, the one fall, the first year I moved to St. Louis, the fall there was spectacular. I'd never seen a more beautiful fall. And I thought to myself, who says St. Louis falls aren't as beautiful as the Northeast? And then the next year we had it was okay. It was an anomaly. But here's what I can tell you about St. Louis. It has 4 seasons. It's had 4 seasons since man became man, since we were making formative thoughts, walking upright, no longer Neanderthals or Cro-Magnon or whatever we become, leftists. We were walking upright, and St. Louis has been experiencing 4 seasons. Let me tell you, Phoenix has been experiencing 2 seasons since man was walking upright. And I could go on. Hawaii experiences 1 season since the dawning of man, not the dawning of time. And that's the way it is. And at some point, St. Louis will maybe become the desert. Who knows? But it won't be because of man. It'll be because of the tectonic shift. The plates will slip and slide. Volcanoes will erupt and all this. And you better hope that you're not around here, white folks, because it's going to be ugly. And that's why, you know what? There's this thing called the Bible that goes, guys, this earth, she is a-changing. And if you believe that this is where your future is, I'm here to explain it's not. Now, don't ask me why God decided to experiment and say, you know what? I got nothing better to do. I'm going to create this creature. Let's call him man. And I'm going to make man pure. I'm going to let him know that you can be pure. You can live a very pious life. But then I'm going to give him temptation. I'm going to test him. But if he makes it, I want to show him something really cool. Think about it. Is it really that difficult to believe? Because let me tell you something. People talk about science. Oh, the science is in. Barack Obama. The science is in. Global warming. It's real. Well, so is the Earth's destruction. It's real. Ask your scientists, is Earth going to one day disappear? Is the sun going to go out? You know the answer? Yes, the sun is going to eventually quit shining. And Earth is going to turn into one big ice cube. And you don't want to be here because you're not going to know how to survive. You're not going to be some animal that they put some molecule in your bloodstream and you freeze and thaw as the Earth cycles into some other orbit. It's going away. There's nothing you can do about it. And Branson, that's a sign. It's a sign from God. It's a sign from science. That's what God and science agree on. But the left don't want to tell you that. We got a lot to talk about. Sit tight.
the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. Fallout from the UN speech is still, it's worldwide. The UK are mad at Donald Trump. Everybody, Austria, they're mad. Oh, who's Donald Trump? Come over and talk smack, blah, blah, blah. He's a president of the United States. America first, baby. That's what I'm saying up in here. I love it. You know what's so funny? America first. We should all be overjoyed that a president would say America first. Woo! And we have people complaining. Can't believe you'd do that. And let me tell you the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. Certainly this regime and the previous African dictatorship. The First Lady of the United States said this: we must never miss an opportunity to teach life's many ethical lessons to children. However, the Democrats say we must never let an opportunity go to waste. Meaning a crisis. A crisis go to waste, not an opportunity, which they consider crisis and opportunity one and the same. That's the difference. Donald Trump and Melania are not looking for crisis. In fact, they're doing their best to say, let's avert them and let's just move on. Certainly her husband is. And by the way, I didn't elect Melania Trump. No offense to the ladies, no offense to the first ladies. And if we were to elect a female president, hopefully a good one, I wouldn't care who her husband is. I don't care. I wouldn't care if he used to be a Chippendale stripper. I wouldn't care. I would have elected that woman. Okay. So that being said, I appreciate what Melania says, but I didn't vote for her. But if she represents, I will tell you. And I don't think you'll ever hear come out of her mouth something along the lines of, for the first time in my adult life, I'm proud to be an American or whatever. When she got her citizenship, she was proud to be an American. And I don't know if it had anything to do with Trump. I don't know when they met, but I bet you the minute she got that citizenship, she was like, hallelujah. I have a friend, he's from Bulgaria. He's a driver, former pilot, and loves America. Loves it. Goes to Bulgaria often, maintains dual citizenship. Wife is from Bulgaria. Daughter, all-American. Speaks the language. Speaks their home language, etc. But he wanted his daughter American. He came over in 1994, I believe. He said it took him 5 years to become a legal citizen of the United States. 5 years. Took the test, had to speak the language, blah, blah, blah. Happy to be here, making a living, paid off, has no debt. I mean, we talk all, he's like, yeah, well, Kevin, I live modestly. He goes, we bought this house, we made a little money. Eventually, we bought the place we live in now, completely own it, outside of taxes. He goes, it allows us freedom of movement. He goes, some of our friends, they have big houses and they're slaves to them. We want freedom of movement. Their daughter's in swimming. She's doing all these things. They go home to Bulgaria. He says in the summer, they will take the entire summer off. He's got that kind of freedom in his job. He goes, we'll take the summer off, go visit family in Bulgaria, or we'll go do something fun for us. He loves to ski. He's a good skier. But he's living the dream. Good for him. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. And we're supposed to be teaching others how to do that. This is a guy, he admittedly, he says, well, Kevin, he goes, man, you know me. He goes, at 30, I was lazy. He goes, I was lazy. He goes, I wasn't ready for life. And then he goes, and then I come to a new country because, we were talking about why he didn't marry sooner. He goes, well, I didn't. He goes, I was loving being a bachelor. I was lazy. I didn't feel like a woman was going to want to be with me as in the state I was in. So he goes, I didn't chase him. He says, I got here to the United States. He goes, for a decade, I got to recertify as a pilot, yada, yada. He goes, I'm just trying to get my life in order. He goes, by the time I get my life in order, he met his wife, married, had his child late. He was in his late 40s when he had his first child. But good for him. He's still living the dream. And he wouldn't trade it for anything. Anyway, I mentioned, bit the inside of my cheek. That sucks. I mentioned that Hillary Clinton went on NPR and she was talking about, well, she was baited into sort of, well, Donald Trump may need to be, he's not legit and all this. Well, she had a subsequent roundtable discussion and she clarified the comments that she made to NPR. Now, let me tell you what happened here. Because you don't clarify comments. I told you the NPR person led Hillary down the path. It wasn't by accident. Hillary Clinton wants to be in the spotlight, and she was testing the waters. And she and the NPR interviewer were like, look, this is where I'd like this to go. Let's see how it is. I can't do anything official, but I want to put this out there because she so wants to be in the limelight. Then I read this article. The very next day, Hillary Clinton's like, well, no, it's not exactly what I meant. She said, I'm not going to contest the legitimacy of the 2016 elections. And let me tell you why this is a big deal. The left were so adamant that Donald Trump is talking about contesting the election. How boorish. We have a free and fair election here in America. That's what separates us from the sodomites of the rest of the world, for the most part. What are they talking about? Donald Trump, it's sacrilegious that he would even suggest such a thing. And even that he would even suggest that the Russians could hack it. Who is this man? Someone should throttle him publicly. And they did. They were beating up on Trump. How could he dare suggest that there's improprieties in our electoral process? And the Electoral College was fine. It slanted big time towards the left. I don't think you guys really understand. I shouldn't say that. You may not completely understand how slanted the electoral process is towards the Democrats. So you're given all that. Trump talking about the Russians are hacking her, Wiki, all the things that were going on, and Trump's going, who knows what's going on with these people? They're getting the answers to the debates. They're getting the questions to the debates before anybody sees them. They're colluding against their own people, Bernie Sanders. They're creating false stories about me. Then they start dropping hints that I'm in cahoots with the Russians. But everything I say is a conspiracy. Oh, he can't possibly influence the election. How would he do that? No one can do that. Barack Obama, hey, there's no way. People, they're saying that they're losers. Don't think they're going to win. We're going to win. That's why he talking about this over there. But whatever. All that going on, you know. Did you understand me? No, because you don't understand Barack Obama. He's an idiot. But now she says, I think no one, including me, is saying we will contest the election. I'm in a very large group of people who believe that, there's no legal basis, no constitutional basis for that. She still leaves the idea that, but I'm still kind of the president.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. Welcome to the Tales of Woe, where we talk about Holly weirdos and their fall from grace. We need some sort of theme music for a segment called Fall from Grace or Tales of Woe. I like Tales of Woe. Yeah, you guys do? Yeah, I like Tales of Woe. And here's the thing. I really don't want to wish any bad luck on anybody because I don't want any bad luck on myself. We have enough. And it doesn't matter to me what your politics are. You want people to be happy. I don't want them to be happy at my expense. I'm not going to sell leftism out like, hey, you can have your utopia because, I'm, at my expense. No, you're not going to make my life miserable with your insanity. But I don't want you to be miserable. If you say, Kevin, I'd love to get more acting roles or more jobs. Okay, I wish you luck, Holly weirdo. But if you say to me, I really wish that President Trump would die. And then I go, I can't go with you on that. If that makes you happy, that's happiness at the expense of somebody else. And you don't have that right. I know Holly weirdos think they do, but they don't. So when I get a story about these ingenues that are out there, these young Hollywood up and coming stars that I quite frankly don't find that fascinating. But when I see them, I then say to myself, I wonder when they hit the news with things of politics, it makes me stop and take pause. It really does. And I often wonder how these little Holly weirdos see things. Because one of Hollywood's most high-paid actresses and most sought-out performers, Jennifer Lawrence, revealed that she is without gig. Yeah. And on top of being without current gig, the outspoken leftist has informed the world that there is no job in the queue. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Hollyweird, but I have a couple of buddies there. And here's what they tell me when I talk to them. They say things like, yeah, Kev, I've got a couple of scripts that I'm looking over or whatever. And I hear that. I'm talking about, I'm not going to drop names, but, people, and they'll go, yeah, okay, I'm looking at a script that was, we'll be talking movies and go, yeah, I got a script like that a year ago. Or I've got 2 scripts that we're working on that are kind of along that line. And I go, oh, well, cool, great. Maybe we'll get to see it. But no. This particular Holly weirdo has nothing in queue. Hard to believe that Jennifer Lawrence, the star of the Hunger Games, is having trouble getting booked for any new movies. Thus, what she defines as a career break. Now, I don't know if you've ever lost a job, whether you were fired, whether you were laid off or whatever. Did you call it a career break? I don't know what you call it. If I only got laid off. Well, I didn't get laid off. They gave us a package because they brought a team over to do something, and we were eminently good at. And that's not the right word. We were really good at it, and they canceled the contract 8 months into this 1-year contract. They go, we've changed our minds. So they bought out, the 4 months, gave us another, a year. or something like that. We got our parachutes and we left. Jumped out of the plane. But I didn't call it a career break. I called it they let us go. It wasn't for any fault of ours. We didn't take it personally. They changed directions. The board said, we thought we wanted to do this. Now that we're on the way to doing it, we're a little scared because they thought their labor rates were going to go down, which they ultimately went down just on their own, not because of what we were going to do. We would have made this company majorly successful. And I think you guys will go with me on this because you probably didn't know who I was 8 years ago, and I'm pretty successful now. But I promise you, I was good at what I did, and we were going to make these guys stars. But they decided to change direction. But I didn't call it a career break. Shoot. A career break is when you say, I've done a lot. I'm going to take a year off, go to Europe, have some fun, or whatever, and then I'll come back and I'll resume. That's a career break. If you don't have like the other end of that equation, in other words, there's a break and you don't have the beginning at this time, I'll reconvene. It's not a career break. If there's nothing in your queue, it's not a career break. If it depends on people calling you and you have no control over it, it's not a career break. See, if you say, I'm going to take a year off, I've already cleared it with my company, or I'm going to take a year off, I'll get back into the scheme of things because people love me and they know that they want my services and people are bidding on your services because you're awesome, as I was. Then yes, you could call it a career break. But even as awesome as I was, I didn't call it a career break. Management consulting is difficult. And when I wrote my book and I got out of, and I was doing what I was doing, you know what I was thinking? Dude, because of the road you're traveling down, mister, you may not be able to just segue back into the scheme of things the way you thought. So I knew that this, quote, career break could be permanent. And it has been so far. Now, I have a plan. I'm not an idiot. But it wasn't going to be this thing. So I'm looking at Jennifer Lawrence, who says she's taking this career break. And here's what they said at DML Daily. Trump trashing actress Jennifer Lawrence told NBC's Today co-host Savannah Guthrie Thursday that she's planning on taking a break from her career after revealing that she isn't booked to take on any new projects for the foreseeable future. I don't have anything set for 2 years, she says. I think I'm just taking a break. I'll see you in 6 months. Now, I'm not surprised by this. My team, we looked this over, and her last few movies haven't done that well. Her most recent film is a film called Mother with an exclamation point. I don't know if she's implying something or if she's just screaming at her mother, but it's Mother exclamation point. And it brought in a humiliating $8 million opening weekend. Now, suffice it to say, that doesn't even cover promotional cost. Now you say, well, Kevin, that's first weekend. It's got more time and blah, blah, blah. Well, true. But it isn't doing it. They want her bursting out of the seams at $40 million. They've already recovered, cost. And the next weekend and all that's profit. That's what they're expecting. They said this. Jennifer Lawrence's new movie, Mother, has left critics bemused and baffled, with one labeling it the worst movie of the century. Directed by her partner, Darren Aronofsky, the grim psychological thriller is causing audiences to leave in a daze, stunned by the, quote, tasteless nightmare, as one review dubbed it. New York Observer critic Rex Reed said, with so much crap around to clog the drain, I hesitate to label it the worst movie of the year when worst movie of the century fits it even better. Not exactly a ringing endorsement. Wow. Unemployed is what she is. She's not taking a career break. And I'll tell you something. It's a matter of, this is a subjective comment. I don't find her that talented. I don't. Is she that good of an actress? Look, there's there was a scene in Get Shorty where Delroy what's her name? Delroy Lindo? Anyway, the black dude in Get Shorty, he says, I've seen better film on teeth. And that's exactly when I see her act, I'm like, what's the big deal? I know girls that can act their butts off compared to her. But it's like Hollywood gets somebody that, I don't know, that they fixate on. They go, we're gonna prop her up. She's the latest darling, I guess. So, but then why do they forsake her? Why are they not giving her roles? Lawrence gave Hollywood what it wanted. She dissed Donald Trump. She supports Hillary Clinton. She is anti-Trump. And generally speaking, that's all it takes to be successful in Hollywood. Look at the Emmys the other day. A veritable homage to Trump haters. Filled with comedic hacks who would have no careers without jokes bashing the president. And I use jokes in my finger quotes. They are not funny in the least. Colbert he's become a caricature onto himself. The Colbert Report. I'll put it, look, we talked about this already, but Hollywood was embarrassed by itself. And then the ratings came out, worst ever. I told you guys, I did the ratings of the Emmys, and I gave you the numbers. 11.3 million in 2016. Previous worst year in 2000 I don't remember the year, but it was when Doogie Howser did it. What's his name? Neil Patrick Harris, something like that. He had the worst. This one was the worst. Where's it going? Hollywood needs to check itself. More back when we get on Jennifer Lawrence when we come back.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It is the Kevin Jackson Show, and I'm talking about a Holly weirdo, best friend to Amy Schumer. Girl's name is Jennifer Lawrence. You've heard of her, right? You probably know her from the Hunger Games. Do you remember she was in X-Men something, and she took over the role of Rebecca, the girl that was married to, oh geez, I don't remember these Holly weirdos' names, but this chick was a model, and Jennifer Lawrence played the girl in blue who could change her appearance. Rebecca de something. Anyway, beautiful lady, and so Jennifer Lawrence played that role. So they're like, oh, well, she was in X-Men, because somebody was sending me a note. Kevin, she was in X-Men. That grossed a lot of money. Do you think that role made her let me tell you something. A cat could have played that role. It was all CGI blue. You couldn't even tell who the girl was. I remember when I first saw the first woman who played it, who is a model, married to I forget the guy's name, but she's married to a hottie too, a dude who's a hottie. And so she played it, and I remember going, who's playing the blue girl? Wow. When Jennifer Lawrence was playing it, it was like, why'd they substitute her in there? Was there not a model of it? Where was Halle Berry? You know what I mean? It was like, I don't need her. And when she was out of the uniform, out of the blue, she was horrible as an actress. She played in another movie where she played I believe this is the case. She played the girlfriend of a mafia guy. I can't remember the movie. Again, horrible role. It wasn't good at all. She's not alluring. She's not sexy. None of it. Anyway, she hates Donald Trump. And you would think that hating, and there's a reason why I'm bringing this up, and the reason why I'm covering it a little bit more than I might normally in the show, is there's a purpose behind what's going on here. Jennifer Lawrence is pro-Hillary Clinton. She's pro-leftist. She's a feminist. Her best friend is Amy Schumer. Hollywood loves this type. She's a young millennial girl hating Trump. And I'll give you some of the things she said about Trump. Loving Hillary Clinton, rising in her career, yada, yada, yada. What did she do? Did she stop putting out on the casting couch? I don't know, but I can tell you this. She says, I have no work currently. I have nothing booked they booked 2 years in advance. She knows the movie she's going to be making. She doesn't have anything scheduled for 2 years. And when she finished doing the interview on NBC, she says, I'll get back with you in 6 months. Like, maybe by then, now that the warning sign's been put out to all the B-League movies that I'm a potential D-lister, maybe I'll come back and report that I'm making some, nonsensical other piece of crap that I made. Because her movie that's out right now, Mother, ! I don't know what that means. But it's like, Mother! But it's a thriller that people can't understand. It's up for worst movie of the century. I mean, talk about jiggly. Do you remember the movie Jiggly that Ben Affleck was in? It with his then girlfriend. I don't know if she married. Did he marry J-Lo? Anyway, it was his girlfriend. Worst movie ever. It was what was the movie with Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty where they were in the desert? It was like, people are like, what is Hollywood thinking? And they spent a fortune on these movies. I don't know what they spent for Jiggly, but it was considered one of the worst movies of its time. I can't remember the Dustin Hoffman film. And whatchamacallit. Look it up. Tell me. Anyway, the point is, she's made a movie that's away from the genre she's used to, which is all these sci-fi stuff. See, Hunger Games was into the future. X-Men into the future. Will Smith did a study of this stuff. He says, if you do a futuristic film that has a certain characteristics, you're almost guaranteed to make money. So he stuck to those kinds of films. He learned this with Men in Black. And so he'll only do kind of an artsy film, like what was that thing, Happiness or something, In Pursuit of Happiness. He'll only do one of those films every now and then, just to try to get an Oscar or something. But other than that, the guy will make sci-fi. What's that one, Legend or something that he made? So Jennifer Lawrence was in the right category that, quite frankly, anybody could have carried that film. She wasn't so good in Hunger Games that you could, I don't know, could Michelle Pfeiffer do it? Maybe not right now because she's older, but she could have in her day. Oh yeah, I'm a Michelle Pfeiffer fan. But pick one of these young girls that's coming up. She could have done Hunger Games as good, if not better than Jennifer Lawrence. So Jennifer Lawrence, I predict, this is just my gut feel, got a little full of herself because she had all the trappings of Hollywood. And she's done well. $408 million with the Hunger Games on opening night. $408 million. You know what she made opening night with Mother? Yeah, I told you. $8 million. $200 million for X-Men. $132 million for Silver Lining Playbook. Not a bad check for somebody who essentially came out of nowhere. But what's happened? Why the fall from grace for an outspoken critic of Trump, which is generally what you need to survive in Hollywood? Yeah. Politics is generally, given to the more experienced actors, right? The De Niros, the Susan Sarandons, and people like that. Here we've got this ingenue that says, I'm going to chime in. And it got me wondering what's going on. She felt her oats, as they say in the country. Jennifer During a promotional tour for the final installation of the Hunger Games movie franchise in 2015, Lawrence told Entertainment Weekly, "If Donald Trump becomes president, that will be the end of the world." Sorry, Al Gore, it wasn't. All right. Then, during a 2016 appearance on Graham Norton's show, Lawrence told the story that she once had the opportunity to express herself to Donald Trump, who was the GOP presidential frontrunner at the time. And here's what she says. "I was at a concert that I heard he was attending, so I had my full security, and I was like, find Donald Trump, because I was adamant on finding him and then making a video of me going, hey, Trump, F you. And to top it off, she recently blamed the devastating hurricanes on Trump, calling the storms Mother Nature's wrath in an interview with The Guardian. She says, and we voted, and it was really startling. You know, you're watching these hurricanes now, and it's really hard, especially while promoting this movie, not to feel Mother Nature's rage and wrath. Wrath, not raft. Unbelievable. Now, I'm not one to say that Hollywood is now punishing Lawrence, because they just quite aren't there yet, right? They haven't made that transition. But the box office crash of Hollywood, folks, have made them a bit more circumspect of what they're spouting out. I firmly believe this, and this is the point I've been getting to. Jennifer Lawrence should have roles lined up for the next 5 years with everything that she's got going on. But she doesn't. Thus her, quote, career break. So Hollywood is figuring out that bashing Trump isn't benefiting anybody. Ask Kathy Griffin. Ask Hollywood, hey, how's your summer going, Hollywood? Because they're getting their butts clean. I mean, they're not clean. They're getting their clocks, what is it? Cleaned. Not their butts cleaned. They're getting beat up. We'll leave it there. They're getting their butts kicked. Not clean. Oh, man. And I keep talking about this and with this sense of what's going on around the country, right? Target, numbers down. Starbucks, numbers down. Everybody that dare continue this Trump bashing, suffering mightily. Late night TV hosts begging for buttermilk. Man, please, somebody give me some ratings. And, you know, Seth, what's his face? I forget, this skinny looking Saturday Night Live guy. He's like the worst of the worst. Jimmy Kimmel, oh, my daughter's heart thing, it's Donald Trump's fault. You know, everybody's blaming Trump. Blame yourselves. They're getting beat up. Hey, somebody mute that phone. I want to hear that during my show. Hollywood, folks, is learning, and I'm telling you, this is not a lesson that's just going noticed on Hollywood. This is a lesson going noticed on corporate America. You are watching a big change happening here. The glitz of Hollywood is growing dim. Hollywood is teaching itself a lesson, and it's long overdue.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. Why am I not hearing myself here? I want to hear myself. They say the most beautiful thing you could hear is the sound of your own name. Well, no, it isn't, dang it. It's my voice. So glad to be with you guys. People tell me, you know, I'll be cruising somewhere. I'll do a radio show or something like that, and people go, Kevin, you have a voice for radio. And I'm thinking, I don't have a voice for radio. What are you talking about? I mean, I squeak. I'm all over the map. It isn't like my voice is all, hey, how you guys doing today? Woo, you know. So people go, you have a voice for radio. I'm like, dude, I don't have that voice. And now here's what I will tell you, because I cannot stand this. I can't stand when people, hey, it's Kevin Jackson blah, 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 on the radio and with the car. And, you know, I don't like that. I like this is the conversation we be having at a bar, right? Or at a cabin in the woods or ski lodge or whatever. We would just be sitting around rapping and talking and having a good time. And the only thing is, I'm the one holding court because I can't hear you. I can't hear you shouting your loving responses to me at your radio like, you get him, Kevin. You're awesome, man. Or, Kevin, I love you and I want to have your babies. I know you're out there. I hear you. Subconsciously, I hear you. Oh, I don't know if anybody wants to have my babies. Well, here's the thing. I ain't having any more, so feel free. Have all my babies you want. Just don't make me pay child support. Oh, man, what do we got to talk about? What have we we talked about dreamers and DACA and Obama talking smack about Trump and Manafort and the Russians, and there's nothing coming out of that stuff. And then I beat up on Richard Branson, and I talked about FLOTUS. I'm talking about Melania. Doesn't that just roll off your lips? Melania. Mm-hmm. Even black girls are going to like Melania. Because see, Melania doesn't have like her name is Susan or Barbara or Linda. No, it's Melania. It's going to be a lot of young black girls named Melania. You watch it. Because it's like, we joke about what are the black names? Shaniqua and Jaquan. Stuff like that. We joke about that on this show all the time. We joke about race all the time on this show. For those of you who are new and you don't know, you're going, who is this guy talking about Shaniqua and Jaquan? It's Kevin Jackson. Authentic black man. Certified by the Atomic Weights and Measures Department of the United States Geological Survey. I am. I can speak truth to power. Fight the power that be. Huh. So, little kids girls are going to be named Melania. Because that's a pretty name. And it kind of, I think about it. Trump's appeal. Trump. Black people know what Trump is. A Trump card. Because we play bid whist. You guys in bridge, you know what it is too, right? But we know what a Trump is. But we also know what Melania is. Melania, see. Ooh, yeah. I can't explain it. It's a feeling, right? But people, they like her. 2 major earthquakes in Mexico this month, people. This month. Should we blame Trump? I think it's the president's fault. I think the election of Donald Trump is creating havoc. The earth, the ecosystem can't handle the natural disaster, because that's what the left would call Donald Trump, a natural disaster. A hurricane of monumental proportions. They consider him a natural disaster. You can bet, as sad as it is to say, you can bet there are people on the left who are blaming the 2 earthquakes in Mexico on Trump. And I bet you there are conspiracy theorists that say Trump caused those earthquakes in Mexico because of Vicente Fox. You remember Vicente Fox? Donald Trump, I'm going to run for president, and I will have a goat as my mascot, and I'm going to run for president, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that sounded more like Dracula, didn't it? Blah, 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 I'll drink your blood. Anyway, Vicente Fox, he is the reason that Donald Trump put those earthquakes on Mexico to say a lesson. And you can bet he back-channeled to the Mexican government, to, what's his name? What's the Mexican president's name? Castillo Nieto. He back-channeled to Nieto by way of Jared Kushner. You either shut Vicente Fox up or there'll be earthquakes coming at you like you've never, bigger and badder, huge. They're going to be huge. These earthquakes will destroy all of Mexico. It's going to be bad. It'll be the worst thing ever. Better for America. America first. Make America great again. Mexico, not so much. That was good, Trump. What are y'all? Don't be looking at me. That was good. You're chuckling. You're chuckling because it was good, Trump. That was on the fly too, man. That was on the fly. Huge. So you don't mess with Trump. If we can make earthquakes, let me ask you, wouldn't we hit North Korea? Wouldn't we hit Iran? If we could make earthquakes, I don't know. Look, I know man can do some crazy stuff. We know how to sonic booms and all these different things. We can make sonic. Did you hear about these people that got sick in some third world rat hole? Well, maybe it was Cuba. And they got hit with a sonic blast, this new weapon. By the way, I saw this weapon in the 80s. I'm not lying. They were talking about this weapon and this flash weapon that would make you forget for like, a minute. And they could do whatever they wanted to you in that minute. And so it was a movie made about this. I can't remember the name. Albert Finney's in it. I know that. And but they have this technology. They use them on whaling ships. Did you know this? Sonic boom. They aim the sonic thing at a boat that's trying to stop the whalers. And it just it'll burst your eardrums. Anyway, they have one that is at a frequency that you can't hear that will make you lose your memory and all kinds of stuff. It's horrible. Anyway, 2 major earthquakes hit Mexico in the same month. Leftists are struggling with this one too. They don't know. They're like, should we say that it's global climate change or should we say it's Trump? And I love to watch leftists struggle with things like this. What a quandary for them. True rock in a hard place. A conundrum. And I say this, Trump is climate change. Trump is global climate change. Think about that conceptually, okay? Trump is global climate change. Trump has changed the climate of the globe as to how they deal with America, as to how they deal with themselves. This dude is a one-man wrecking crew. He is a hurricane, a tornado, a mudslide, a flood, and avalanche all in one. And he's on our side. And for you naysayers, forget about DACA and all these other things. Donald Trump is going to do right by you. He's got no skin in the game. They can't buy this man.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here, author of Race Pimping. You can get my book at racepimping.com. It applies to lots of stuff, so check it out. I want to talk about, we talk about this topic a lot, but this time it's got a different spin on it, and that's the beauty of what we talk about. It's cyclical, but there's always something different, a nuance, a tweak here or there, because that's what happens with liberalism. They like to keep stats. You know this. They keep stats on you. They keep watch on you. That's why Barack Obama bugged your phones, and Facebook wants to own your phone and all your technology, and essentially you sell your soul to the devil. They want to know what you're about. They like the data. They like to be able to measure you and find out what your sauce. There was a show out. I forget the name of the show. It was a movie, and this thing was it was an orb, and it could sense your fears and it could read your thoughts, and whatever your fear was, that's what it fixated on in working with you. It would scare the bejesus out of you. You said, I'm really afraid of, lions or whatever. Then you would dream of lions. It would put a lion in your room. It would do things to try, to make you go crazy. I think it was called Sphere. I think the movie was Sphere. And I think that's what the left does. They want to know they want to know all this data about you. It's like these people that what's her name, Leah Remini or something. She's doing this thing on Scientology, because the Scientologists, what I've heard about them, you have to go in and you cleanse yourself by telling them all your dirty, dark, nasty, right? And then they go, okay, you should feel good about it, but they record it. And so you're like, one time I touched a neighbor's daughter, whatever. And you're thinking, you were, 7 years old or whatever, and you're thinking they are recording this so they can use it against you. And that's why I see leftism. They want to use things against you, as opposed to helping you understand what your issue might have been at the time, or telling you that, you whatever you've done, you can be forgiven. And it isn't necessarily for man to forgive. And I'll be honest with you, I don't forgive pedophiles. I just don't. I understand they have a problem, but it's tough for me to do that because I believe in children so much. I love kids. Couldn't imagine if somebody tried to, bugger one of my boys when they were youngsters, or even now. There's no end to what I would have done to this person, right? So, but other than that, if you go, Kevin, I use drugs, or, I used to, if you were a woman and you go, yeah, I was pretty promiscuous. Honestly, whatever, I don't care. And it isn't that I don't care about the behavior. I get it. But I'm not going to moralize why you did what you did, because that's for you to figure out. And you're to be embraced by telling someone about yourself. Telling somebody truth about yourself should endear you to them. Am I right? Psychologists, that's what they say. The reason why you pick your mate is because, forget looks and all that. I can practically tell you who you're going to marry. If you say to me, I have 3 girls I'm attracted to, the only question I'll ask you is, which one of them knows you best? Because that's going to be your wife. I'd say to women, you got 3 guys you like, which one of them knows you best? That's probably who you'll marry. We want to be known. There's this thing. It's the reason why serial killers keep these little trinkets, because they, believe it or not, they want to remember this, and it's a memory thing, and they want to tell people. I remember watching this stupid show Dexter, and the biggest thing that Dexter, the problem he had, because he would kill bad guys, so you almost liked the guy, but the problem Dexter had was he couldn't share what he was doing with anybody. You want to be known. Good, bad, or indifferent. You want to be able to say to somebody, yeah, this one time I dated this ugly girl. And here's why. And without judgment, like, who? What? You dated Amy Schumer? Oh my God. Or you tell your buddy your secret shame is you think Amy Schumer's cute. I get it. It would be tough not to revolt on a gentleman like that, but I wouldn't. I would accept his peccadillo. So, we want to be known. But for government, they don't want to know you. They know you through your data. That's it. And it's never going to help you. And when it is glaringly bad, you know what they do? They spin it. So I'll give you an example. 500 murders in Chicago in 2017, and it's reported as good news. Because that's how leftists have to spin that. 500 people lost their lives. It finally hit the mystical, magical number of 500. No other city in the United States has reached 500 this year or will. Chicago has. 2nd year in a row. 735 murders last year. They're slightly below that mark for this year. And I'll get to the numbers here in a second. And they spin it as, hey, we reached 500 later than we did last year. Congratulations to us. Yeah, weekend violence across Chicago pushed 500 homicides in 2017, an infamous milestone that comes as Mayor Rahm Emanuel announces nearly 100 new police officers are going to be hitting the streets. Yay! 100 new police officers. Look at Chicago. Look at the size of that city, the amount of distance they have to cover. Now, they'll say, oh, Kevin, we're going to put them mostly in the south and east side. Okay. Look at that. Look at how busy that is. I'm not telling you you don't need more cops, but isn't it antithetical to be putting more cops? I'll get to that in a second. Last year, the city reached the grim mark 14 days earlier. During the Labor Day weekend, this is according to data from the Chicago Sun-Times, there's been nearly a 7% drop in homicides from this time last year, according to the data. Yippee! There's your new Chamber of Commerce slogan. Now, maybe there are others. We'll think of them along the way. On this date last year, there had been 534 homicides so far in 2016, a year in which Chicago recorded 762 homicides. I thought it was 735. I saw a different report. An average of 2 murders per day. The most killings in the city in 2 decades and more than New York and Los Angeles combined. Did you hear what I said? More than the 2 of the largest cities. Both of those cities are larger than Chicago. And the number of murders in Chicago is lower than both of them combined. I want to repeat that because I like saying combined. And the left, well, it's 7% down. Look at that. Look at how great we are. Only 500 people have been killed. We're 14 days off of the last year's schedule. Oh, we should congratulate ourselves. When I give you the numbers, it's going to be shocking to you how bad the city is and how could it possibly be overlooked. And even with the scrutiny of Spike Lee, one of the most outspoken black-centric racists on the planet, they can get nothing to happen differently in Chicago.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson. We're talking about Chicago murders on the Kevin Jackson Show. And the reason why I'm talking about it is nothing new. It isn't like, it's like, hey, there's murder in Chicago. Kevin, there were people killed in Chicago over the weekend. What? You've got to be kidding me, Kev. What's going on there? How did it happen? There's no surprise here. There's gambling in the casino, right? So 500 people, they reached the milestone last weekend. Yay. It's almost like, I don't know, I can see a game show. When will Chicago reach 500 murders? Pick your weekend. There's a drawing, a lotto. You don't be shocked if you see some crazy lottos like that. You've seen shows about this. There's a show where they took convicts and they had them race death race, and it was beamed out on satellite and fed to the masses, right? And they looked for higher and higher ratings. Stuff like that. What was that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he had to, he ran around and they chased him down and whoever survived, it was like gladiators fighting each other. Whatever, I forget the name of the movie, but Richard Dawson was in it and Maria Conchita Alonso. Not Total Recall, but it was one of these movies where he's convicted of a crime he didn't really do. They faked it and they put him in this prison, and then and all the people get to enjoy watching these gladiators try to kill each other. And there have been many others. What about Hunger Games? It's not criminals, but they pick people from different quadrants or whatever, different areas of the galaxy, of the country, whatever they call it, and then they pit them against each other. Yeah. So it isn't like it's a stretch to believe that people haven't thought about something like that. Let's frame somebody, put him in a prison, make him have to fight his way out. Said no conservative ever. I would never be sitting around going, yeah, here's what we'll do. We'll frame a guy. We'll accuse him of doing something he didn't do, like mowing down innocents in a crowd, and then we'll railroad him into prison. And then we'll do a gladiator sport where we make money off of these guys killing each other. That's just liberals thinking that crap up. Anyway, that's what it's become. Escape from L.A., right? It should have been Escape from Chicago. Kurt Russell was in the movie Escape from L.A. They could have easily called it Escape from Chicago. Gun violence over the weekend, 500 homicides. And they brag because it was 14 days later than it was last year when they reached 534 in the weekend of Labor Day. 762 total homicides in Chicago last year. They're on pace to get over 700 this year. But hey, it's less. Woohoo! So Rahm Emanuel, the mayor of Chicago, he cares about his people. He says, I'm going to add 100 new police officers. Now, when I heard this is what went through my conspiratorial mind. I said, I wonder if blacks in Chicago will call him a racist. Will they accuse him of putting 100 hitmen on the street who are going to go out and hunt black men? Likely not, given that Rahm Emanuel is a Democrat, and also given that black people do a pretty good job of hunting and bagging other blacks. Yeah, Chicago is certainly no stranger to black-on-black crime. But the murders in Chicago have given Chicago a distinction, and as Fox noted in an article, Chicago blacks are killed at a faster pace than New York and L.A. combined. Last year, Chicago had more murders than two of the largest cities in the country combined. Now, there's a Chamber of Commerce slogan if there ever was one. We kill more black people in 1 year than New York and L.A. combined. Come visit the windy, deadly city. Wow. Exactly how long, folks, has it taken Rahm Emanuel to address the exorbitant, outrageous amount of black death in his city? He's been mayor since 2011. And a mere 6 years later, he decides to address the murder problem? What were you doing, Rahm? Were you covering up for police corruption? Were you working on re-election? Were you waterboarding some Latino that you didn't want to run for? I don't know. What could he possibly have been doing? I guess, though, the murder problem kind of sneaked up on him. You think? I mean, I have the numbers. Do you think that the murder problem sneaked up on Rahm Emanuel? Maybe. Rahm was like, like Marion Barry, outside of the killings, D.C. is pretty safe. But here's what the Huffington Post said in 2012 numbers, and I'll give you the numbers. Number of 2012 murders, non-negligent manslaughters. Chicago, 500. This is in 2012. New York, 419. Detroit, 386. Philadelphia, 331. LA, 299. Baltimore, 218. Houston, 217. Okay? They said, and I love this. I love this part of the article. Several reports were quick to dub the Windy City the nation's new murder capital, despite the fact that the FBI makes no such claim with any of its data. In fact, the Bureau even issues a bold lettered caution against any sweeping generalizations based solely on numbers. Remember what I told you? The left will use data where they like it, and when they don't like it, they go, well, don't use that data. Don't misinterpret the data. Just because Chicago has more killings than any other city in the country doesn't mean it's the murder capital. Okay. They commit the most murders, including cities that are larger than them, but it's not the murder capital. Well, Kevin, there is such a thing as per capita data and all. I get it. I understand per capita. I understand there are places that could theoretically be more murderous per capita. But in terms of sheer volume, Chicago wins, right? Here's what they go on to say. These rough rankings provide no insight into the numerous variables that mold crime in a particular town, city, county, state, tribal area, or region. Consequently, they lead to simplistic and or incomplete analyses that often create misleading perceptions, adversely affecting communities and their residents. Valid assessments are possible only with careful study and analysis of the range of unique conditions affecting each local law enforcement jurisdiction. So in other words, Chicago has a whole new set of problems than LA, then New York, then Detroit, then Philadelphia, then Baltimore, then Houston. So let's just see. They got Democrat mayors, every single one of them. They've got heavy Democratic, council, city council, board of aldermen, whatever. They're chock full of leftists. Every single one of those cities, you would have a hard time finding a Republican to throw a rock at. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, they're so different. They have a black side of town. They have a good side of town. And the good side of town is shrinking. They have a elitist class that gets everything it wants, and they completely ignore the other side of the city. Yeah, really, tell me what I'm missing here. They said, though 500 homicides is a shocking milestone, the FBI total is actually lower than what several other outlets, including Red Eye and WEBZ, reported. So, just so we're clear, if you have more homicides in other cities, you are the murder capital of the United States. And these guys are rationalizing it by saying, well, the FBI's data is not exactly clear. There are two other reports that show that Chicago didn't have as many homicides in 2012. Oh, so what? It was still the leader. So in other words, if somebody said, well, we have a report that says Chicago only had 498 killings, my first thing would be, are you kidding? You can't even keep up with your killings? You have so many? How? Don't even get me into I'm going to ridicule you for 30 minutes. I'm going to do stand up on just that alone. Chicago got so many killings, they don't even know how to track them. But let me give you some other numbers. 2013, Chicago had 422 killings. 2014, 428 killings. That's more, guys. 2015, they had 495. Just missed cracking the 500 mark. 2016, 762. So, recapping, 422, 428, 495, 751. 250 more murders from 2015 to 16 when Barack Obama was beating up on the police officers around this country, and every mayor was talking about sanctuary cities and all these things and not protecting its citizens. And there you have it. Rahm Emanuel has watched Chicago's crime go up every single year he's been in office, and he's done nothing. But he wants you to believe that he's doing something positive for the city of Chicago. The murder of Chicago, by the way, murder rate showcases Obama's work in stellar format. The fact that the murder rate increased dramatically under Emanuel comes as no surprise. That he's an Obama surrogate comes as no surprise. Given his track record, you think about that.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. Oh, my goodness, we're about to wrap it up. I already miss you. I already miss you guys. God, jeez, I'm just getting started. I feel like it's still fresh to me today. Doesn't it feel fresh? If you've been listening to the entire program, I appreciate you. I love you. Let me say that again. I love you. That was to the ladies. Dudes, I love you guys, all right? You're my boys. But to the girls, I love you. But I don't love, I gotta temper that, you know. I don't want you getting, all, can't get all goo goo gaga, right? Anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. We're closing out. It was a high energy day. I had a headache all day. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a headache. Something's, and I get these little nagging headaches. It's not a big deal. It's not like a migraine. Knock on wood, I don't get migraines. But I had this little nagging headache. And it was telling me, Kevin, you just aren't going to have a good show today. I'm going to make sure I'm going to mess with you. And I was like, headache, you better just go. You just mind your business because you're not going to get into my face, boy. And the headache was like, whatever. And then, I got a little bit of a break. And he reminded me, hey, still here. And I was like, dude, I'm almost done. Check it out. Show's almost over. So there, headache. Anyway, let's cover some leftist news. How about that? Watchdog demands that the White House release the Mar-a-Lago visitors logs, and Donald Trump says no. I don't need to tell you who's coming to Mar-a-Lago. People come to Mar-a-Lago to disappear. They don't want to be bothered. If I'd gone to Mar-a-Lago, I don't want people knowing. When I go to Mar-a-Lago, I'll announce it. Okay, let's just be clear. But a lot of people may not want that. It's funny how leftists want to give you your privacy. When it's Bill Clinton, with some jizz on a dress. It's his private life, man. But when the shoe is on the other foot, we need to know everybody that's visiting Donald Trump. It could be the Russians. For all we know, it could be WikiLeaks, Julian Assange. You better let us know. And Donald Trump's like, I ain't letting you know jack. I don't have to let you know anything. Did I mention I'm the president up in here? Good for Donald Trump. Don't succumb. Don't give these leftists anything. You give them an inch, they take a mile. Look at what happened to Nancy Pelosi. Could you not fight harder for an illegal vote than Nancy Pelosi? Oh, she don't care about them. She cares about their vote. And these people, you shut up. You have given us nothing. You're not the word. You're worthless, Nancy Pelosi. Shut up. Who do they expect to be a bigger advocate than them? The ghost of Cesar Chavez? Come on. Holy Toledo. Why do we say Holy Toledo? Why not Holy Albuquerque? I don't know, just thinking about it. Nancy Pelosi getting yelled at by Hispanics, and I liked it. I ain't gonna lie, I enjoyed watching it. You shouldn't get that much enjoyment out of watching people get shouted down. And Nancy was surrounded. Man, she did not have enough security to get around all them little banditos. Too funny. Kerry to Trump. He said, here's what Kerry said to Trump. I hadn't heard a single thing about John Kerry. Just talked about it earlier in the broadcast. And then my producer goes, ha, as if to mock me. You were mocking me. I earlier in the break, I said, where's John Kerry? Where's John Kerry? Then during the break, what do? I get new notes. And what do you do? Yeah, John Kerry in the news. I got you, man. I know what you're up to. Yeah. Don't worry. The audience still trusts me. They don't trust you. You're the CNN of producers over there, mister. You and your buddy. I get new ones, but I can't find them that want to work cheaper. Yep. So Kerry says to Donald Trump, Paris Agreement, not some quick real estate deal. Really? So what is it? A slow drag out real estate deal that ends up in a short sale? Why can't it be a quick real estate deal, John Kerry? See, that's the way I think. I'm putting you inside the head of a genius. I say some of these things. The audience is listening to me going, this dude's a total egomaniac. I say these things because I got two guys that watch me. And they don't understand how smart I am. So I have to remind them periodically that I'm a genius. Yeah, but I would say to Kerry, why can't it be a quick real estate deal? Why can't Donald Trump go in there and say, look, We're happy to abide by the accord. I tell you what, you guys carry the brunt of the cost, and we will continue down our path of reduced emissions as we see fit. And they all go. And then Donald Trump says, and by the way, given that the United States of the industrialized nations is the best performing when it comes to global climate, global emissions, as you like to call them, then we should get a kickback. And I suggest you guys come up with $50 billion a year to pay to us to keep our emissions at a certain level, and we'll be happy to take a look at it. And then they go, well, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I mean, he does make a good point. And they do it. And if they were to do it, why couldn't it be that quick? Why does it have to be long and drawn out? Have you ever had a piece of property that you owned and you thought, woo-hoo-hoo, got my property, rehabbed it, now it's time to go sell it. And then you go try to sell it because you want to make a certain amount of money, and they go, oh, not going to sell it. So it's on the market for 60, 90 days, and they go, it's better if we take it off the market now. And you go, okay, and then we'll relist it cheaper. So then they take it off the market, they relist it $10,000 cheaper. And, it's in something with a 9 at the end, like 99,999, whatever. So then you think, it'll sell now. Yeah, because it's 10,000 cheaper or whatever. And it doesn't sell. And here's what's going on with you. You're toting the note. You're carrying the freight. So as you're carrying the freight, you're paying $2,000, $3,000 a month or whatever it is to carry the freight on this thing. And it doesn't sell, and it doesn't sell, and it doesn't sell. Now, you might profit, a couple $100,000 out of the house. But at $3,000 a month, you're doing the math going, wow, how long can I keep this house and still get something out of it? But you're afraid to go too far down because you don't want to just give it away. So you can keep experimenting. You can experiment yourself it ended up short selling. So the point is this, John Kerry, why does it have to not be a quick agreement? Why can't Donald Trump go in there and say, here are the terms of America participating in the Paris Accord? We're not paying any money. We will reduce our emissions per sound economic policy. We are committed to green energy. We are. Donald Trump's committed to green energy, but he's not going to do it at the sake of the coal miners and the sake of ExxonMobil and the fact knowing that we still got to have a grid that's up and running. He's a pragmatist about it. So why can't he go in there, say, these are our terms, take them or leave them, and do a quick real estate deal? That's what this brother is talking about. Mic drop. What about this? Researchers say rise in the alt-right voices are influencing the German elections. They're saying, folks, that you in America are impacting Germany's elections just like you impacted Brexit in England. They're saying Trump was the reason why Brexit passed. I don't know. Is he? I think he is. I think he's one of the reasons, but I think it's you. I think your election of Trump is what did it. Somebody help me here. Somebody come in and get the sweat off my brow because I feel like I'm preaching right now. I think you did it. Because if Trump doesn't get elected, what are we talking about? We're in the Paris Accord. We're not talking about Brexit. Brexit would have lost. We're not talking about Germany looking at their immigration policies. Would we be re-looking at our refugee policy? Or would Hillary Clinton be going, I'm the president, look at me. You know what I'm talking about. So you did it. And you're the ones influencing the Germans' decision on things. You're the one influencing people to take a look at all these stupid policies that have allowed terrorists to come in their midst, crime to go up exponentially, rape culture, robbing and beating of infidels, the Christians in a culture, the takeover, the slow Islamization of all of Europe is occurring right before their very eyes. And you put a stop to it. Donald Trump is just your vessel. You did it. Here's another story that's just starting to take wings. The GOP odds have risen on the repeal of Obamacare. Whoa, somebody tell me it ain't so. I told you guys, don't sweat Obamacare. Don't sweat the repeal of Obamacare, the replace of Obamacare, because everybody knows it sucks. And what did Donald Trump do? He met with the Democrats, and everybody was having he's on DACA, and he's going to give away the farm. We're not going to get Obamacare. And Trump said, I'll let it implode. They'll come to me. It'll be okay. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay? Hey, everybody, just relax. I got this. Okay. Forget about it. Okay? We're good here. And what did he do? Got him to the table. They're saying, the repeal of Obamacare is coming. And it isn't. The sky's falling. You want to know why? Because people can't get insurance. They're starting to realize that Donald Trump is right. Folks, I've given you all day jewels as to why you are so beautiful. You're beautiful to me. You look marvelous. You really do.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.